Stadium in the Bronx, and the Yankees come back and lead this one 7-5. Hi everybody, Al Trowick along with Ken Singleton, and I don't know about you, Kenny, but I really wish I could put life in slow motion and just let this day sort of wash over me a little slower than other days. It's just beautiful.
Anytime you have an opening day situation in a history-filled ballpark like Yankee Stadium, I think the fans can enjoy it, and even we can really get into it. It's something special. You got your good big pitcher going at David Cone. Got Tino Martinez hitting home runs. What else could a Yankee fan want?
Tino with the 3-run home run. The Yankees strike for 5 in the 3rd inning. They chase the starter Jimmy Haynes, and now David Cone will face the top of the order and Ricky Henderson. Ricky's 0 for 2 patrolling center field today for the Oakland A's, and I thought the look that Cone gave Tino Martinez was absolutely classic when Tino came to the dugout like, man, thanks a lot.
Well, now it's up to David Cone to stay in the groove. He pitched pretty well last inning.
And I thought of David this morning when it was really cold. I mean, it was in the 40s, but now it feels very, very comfortable. Like if you were out there throwing, you wouldn't even think about the temperature as far as the grip on the ball.
Well, certainly he feels more comfortable now. After his teammates after he fell behind by 5, they come up with 7 runs to give the Yankees the lead.
The 0-1 to Ricky Henderson. Tino lets it go through the wickets. It never came off the ground. Just didn't stay down on the ball, and that should have been an out.
2 things when you're going after ground balls: you got to keep the glove down and your backside down, and it looks as though one of the 2 came up right through the legs, and this is very embarrassing for any infielder. A ball going through your legs that looked to be a certain out.
So Tino's going to have to deal with it. You do some good things and you do some things you want to forget about. 7-5 Yankees, top of the 4th inning. Jason McDonald again looks at 0-1. It is unbelievable how David Cone has stayed in front of the A's hitters today.
But one problem he's had a problem polishing them off, particularly in the inning where he gave up 5 runs in the 2nd. He got 2 strikes on a number of the hitters, but couldn't finish.
This to me, Ken, if you wanted to put one game in a bottle to define what's going to happen to the Oakland A's this season, this could be it. They're going to hit. They have names, you know, power that you can recognize, see it on the stat sheet, a couple of veterans, maybe just enough speed to be dangerous. But the pitching, where is it?
Well, like last year, it was non-existent.
It gets away from Girardi, and Henderson will advance. So the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Girardi couldn't handle it.
Things getting a little sloppy here after the Yankees have taken a lead. I'm not so sure that is a wild pitch. That might be a pass ball. Good sharp break on it. Girardi to the backhand, and it did hit his glove, and it is a pass ball.
Long time scorer here at Yankee Stadium. Red Foley makes the call. So 1 through the legs of Martinez, a pass ball against Girardi, and here's a bunt. Going to Martinez. Henderson advances to 3rd, 1 away here in the 4th.
Jason McDonald, who the A's hope will become the new Ricky Henderson in that leadoff role. And Ricky's done a good job of teaching him how to work the count and work pitchers. But here's another youngster the A's are hoping will become a star in this league.
What's unbelievable is that every baseball publication that I could find before the season started had him grooved. #1, best prospect, can't miss. And look at the start he's had.
Kind of reminds me of what they said about over in the National League last year, Scott Rowland of the Philadelphia Phillies.
And he came through for them, too.
He came through as Rookie of the Year. Had a great year.
Ben Grieve with Henderson on at 3rd, 90 feet from making it a 1-run game. It's 1-0. Two balls and no strikes.
Well, that pitch wasn't particularly close, but one of Grieve's strength is that he won't chase bad pitches. Really zeroes in on what he wants at the plate.
Cone may be content to not give Grieve anything real easy to groove, because then you've got double play possibilities to deal with if he gets on. But you're in the dangerous power part of the A's batting order. And on 4 pitches, Ben Grieve, who has singled twice and driven in 2, is on at first. Bill Stottlemyre keeping a close eye on David Cone. He faced 9 batters in the 2nd inning. The pitches piled up, and now he'll face Matt Stairs. Stairs has single, double, driven in a run, a perfect 2 for 2. And look at the batting average, albeit very early and only the 7th game for the A's, .409.
Stairs only got 352 at bats last year. It looks as though he's going to play a lot more this year because he hit 27 homers in those 352 at bats.
This will be the 83rd pitch for David Cone. Quick check of the Toyota box score. You see where the damage has been done. Grieve and Stairs. And then the bottom of the order, Hinch and Bornegal with 3 hits. I don't know how many days Art Howe's going to get 3 out of 4 in the bottom part of the order. 1-1. What do you think about the walk to Grieve? Ken, do you think that was sort of a if it happens it's fine?
Well, it set things up once he fell behind 2-0. Then I think that David got a little more careful and said, I'm not going to groove anything to this young man. He's already gotten 2 hits and a couple of RBIs. But one thing you don't like to do is walk the tying run on base. That's another situation that he's forced to deal with now.
1-1 with the Yankees up 7-5. High, 2 balls and a strike. It's a glorious opening day here at Yankee Stadium. I doubt that you could fit another Yankee fan in the ballpark. We had Joe DiMaggio throw out the ceremonial first pitch. George Steinbrenner had a host of U.S. Olympians here introduced to the crowd, and they all were able to meet Joe DiMaggio. Ground ball to second. That walk could turn out to be good news. Yes, the Yankees go 4-6-3, and the A's strand 1. David Cone gets the ground out he needs. Knobloch to Jeter to Martinez. How many DPs will they get this year?
This year, your lawn may see 9 picnics, a dozen ball games, 2 yard sales, and a junior circus. But your lawn can come through all that lush and healthy with Lawn Doctor. For $29.95 or less, your Lawn Doctor dealer applies all the granular nutrients and only the weed and insect controls your lawn needs. Get the great lawn you want for $29.95 or less per service. Call Lawn Doctor. Nobody does it better.
Chante, mon cœur, chante, ce n'est qu'une étoile qui éclaire nos amours. Jamais, jamais je n'oublierai que...
C'est magnifique.
What did you expect? This is New York.
There are over 100 wineries right here in New York. For your free summer guide, call 1-800-I-LOVE-NY.
Well, my Discover Card statement reads like a wish list. Toys. I like toys. I love pinball machines. This will improve my golf game. It is unbelievable to me how fortunate I've been in my life, and I can't ask for anything more. The best thing you can do with your Discover Card cashback bonus is give it straight to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. That's what I do.
It pays to discover. Call 1-800-IT-PAYS-TO. Accepted where you see the nervous sign.
Dimage, the first digital camera with a move and zoom lens. A 3-foot cable shoots over the crowd's head, behind your back. Shoot up a storm, then download only the best into your PC. Yes, Dimage V, the digital camera with a fast, straight, detachable lens, only from the mind of an author.
The home opener for 1998, brought to you in part by Hoover. Nobody gets the dirt like Hoover. Nobody. Al Trawick along with Ken Singleton, Jim Cott back for the 5th inning. A sellout crowd in the house that Ruth built.
Hi to Grandma.
Bottom of the 4th inning, Derek Jeter will lead it off for the Yankees. The Yankees sent 8 to the plate in the 3rd and got 5. Sent 7 to the plate in the 2nd and got 2. And they lead by a count of 7-5. A little revenge here for David Cone. He gave up the big blast in Oakland. Jimmy Haynes was the beneficiary of the win. Now Haynes is gone, and David Cone got the big blast in the form of Tino Martinez. His first home run of the season. Out of the American Express quote book for Derek Jeter. There's no place like home. It sounds like the Wizard of Oz. The whole day will just be filled with a lot of excitement. Opening day in New York is different than anywhere else. Amen to that. And I don't know how many Yankees thought about this in the dugout. Probably none. But the moment Tino Martinez hit it, especially on a day like this, To think that Tino could stand where Babe Ruth stood on an opening day 75 years removed from whence Babe Ruth and the Yankees opened this ballpark in almost the same situation. Hit a blast with men on. Doesn't get cooler. I mean, he's in the same dirt that Babe was in. Inside and off the plate, Aaron Small walks Derek Jeter.
That's the 6th walk that the Yankee hitter has gotten today.
Well, that's a real luxury that the Yankees have. They really do have back-to-back leadoff guys. So in a case like this, you've got a leadoff guy doing his leadoff thing.
By the way, Al, your piece on the New York City Marriott Hotels Yankee scorecard, 75-year history of Yankee Stadium. That was excellent.
It was a lot of
really
fun.
Enjoyed it. When you go back and you look at all those cars that open day parked out like they are outside today, but of course, how could you find your own car? That's what I want to know.
Really?
They're all the same color.
It wasn't like you clicked your keychain and a little beeper went off. I mean, the photographs that we were able to find of the Model T Fords, as Ken says, all black, and a string of cars from Yankee Stadium to what I think was close to the Willis Avenue Bridge. I mean, that far. Throw over to first, and Jeter is back. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. I was fascinated. We got the old newspapers from that day.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And the day that Yankee Stadium opened, one of the stories in the news was that the Chicago Cubs' new field had opened the day before. And it was 33,000, and at the time, you know, the biggest crowd. And now they've got a runner caught, but the ball's hit to second, so Jeter's able to get to second safely. I thought for a moment they were going to have him caught. He got such a weird start, but O'Neill keeps him alive. 1 out.
I hate to be in charge of valet parking.
So anyway, the day that the Yankees opened up Yankee Stadium, Chicago had a new ballpark as well, and they thought 33,000 was a big deal. And then that afternoon, the Yankees blew that figure out of the water, more than doubling it.
Now, which Chicago are you talking about? The White Sox or the
Wrigley.
Okay.
It wasn't called Wrigley Field then, but.
And both these ballparks are going strong here in the 90s.
Bernie Williams looks at ball 1, and judging from the new Yankee clubhouse, I don't think the Yankees are planning on ripping old Yankee Stadium down tomorrow. Bernie Williams' day includes 2 walks. He's been a patient man. And Aaron Small misses 2 balls and no strikes. And if Haynes got in trouble with the walks, now Small's getting in trouble getting behind on the hitters.
Now you see the 2 walks next to Bernie Williams. More importantly, 2 runs scored, keeping the innings going.
Strange to see the top 3 positions in the order without a hit. All the hits came in the bottom 6. Bernie fouls it off into this sellout crowd. 7-5 Yankees here in the bottom of the 4th inning. It's 2-1 on Bernie Williams with 1 out. Jeter's the runner at second.
Joe Torre's had the luxury of the first 5 hitters in the Yankees lineup has been the same through the first 7 games, and including today, make it 8 games in a row. First 5 spots in the order have been identical. It's been Knobloch, Jeter, O'Neill, Williams, Martinez. And only one other team in baseball can say that.
And that is
the Chicago White Sox. Ray Durham, Mike Cameron, Frank Thomas, Albert Bell, and Robin Ventura.
White Sox off to a good start with 7 wins in the Central. But Bernie Williams getting a dose of fan reality in the introductions. I don't know what it was, 50-50, 60-40 cheers, 40 boos, whatever, but clearly the fans making their statement. Two balls and a strike to Bernie Williams. 3 balls and a strike. 7-5, 2 in the second, 5 in the third, and Tino Martinez on deck. His 3-run home run, first of the season, back in the 3rd inning, gave the Yankees the tying runs they needed.
Bernie's got the hat trick in the walk department.
Well, Aaron Small did not want to do that. Back-to-back walks for Tino Martinez. I mean, that's a disaster. Here's Martinez back in his last at bat. And if he stood where Babe Ruth stood on opening day, he put it in what was once called Ruthville.
Nope. I wonder if they had curtain calls in those days.
Well, Babe sort of took his curtain call at second base. He got a head start on it. He took the cap off.
That's right.
You know? He didn't wait till he got to the dugout. And Aaron Small can't find the plate. 1 ball and no strikes.
Tino's been in the groove hitting wise because he in the second inning he got a base hit. Went to the opposite field. Neatly done. Pitch was out over the plate. He went the other way. Second time up with a couple of men on, had a chance to get a pitch he could pull, and he put it out of the ballpark.
Small's got to bring it into the strike zone. Oh boy, Tino just drooling if this is close.
But like I said, it's got to be where he wants it, or else he's not going to chase it. That's how patient the Yankee hitters are. Even if it's a good pitcher's strike, low and away on the outside corner, he will not even offer at it.
Cohn's got one of those instant hand warmers to keep his fingertips full of blood. 3 balls and no strikes, and you got to figure somebody's got to come out of the Oakland A's dugout soon. Darryl Strawberry on deck.
Nobody warming up in the A's bullpen.
Hello.
And Aaron Small has not been around the plate this inning. He's already walked 2.
And the bases are full of Yankees for Darryl Strawberry.
Pitching coach Rick Peterson out of the dugout to talk to Small. Now he has painted himself into a small corner, if you will.
Small has a big problem.
But the fact is, eventually what's going to happen here, he's going to throw one in the middle of the plate just to throw a strike. And that's when a hitter can tee off. He's just walked the man to load the bases. If you're a hitter coming to the plate with the bases loaded following a walk, the first pitch, he doesn't want to walk the next guy, right? He can't walk in a run.
Right.
He has to try and get ahead of the hitter. So you look for something really good to jump on in that first pitch. At least I always did.
Darryl's walked twice, stole a base, flashing some speed. And the stadium in the Bronx sounds like the stadium should sound. Big swing for Darryl. It's 0-1.
Just enough movement on that fastball towards the outside corner.
Jeter's on at third. Bernie Williams walked as well, and so did Tino Martinez. That evens the count. Strawberry hitting .235 with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs on the season. He went from being really stinky to being really in the groove in one game.
Looking kind of casual, blowing bubbles at the plate. Wow.
Oh, good grab.
You're right. A nice play by Hinch. The target was low and away. The pitch was low and inside.
Well, Kenny, it's the old quote-unquote hitter's pitch. If Small can find the plate, this one will be near it. Darryl rocks one down the line, fair ball. Jeter scores. Bernie gets the green light from Willie Randolph. The throw to second is late. 6 RBIs on the season for Darryl Strawberry. Yankees 9, Oakland 5.
Well, remember what I said about eventually throwing a pitch towards the middle of the plate after all of these base on balls, and that's when a hitter can tee off. Let's watch the target here. Target's low and away, but this pitch is more towards the middle. You see that? And no chance for Giambi. This one right over the bag and on down the right field line. And the Yankees have 2 more runs scored. Location.
Oh boy.
You can't get much more down the middle than that. Wow.
And now the A's are going to intentionally walk Chad Curtis. Well, Chad hasn't enjoyed that honor very many times in his career. But Chad's going to be intentionally walked. David Cohn now has been given a 4-run cushion. And for the second time this inning, Aaron Small is going to deal with a bases loaded situation. Curtis already has an infield single back in the big 3rd inning.
Well, what they're doing now is loading the bases to try and get the double play on the next hitter, who's going to be Scott Brosius. They're looking for a way out of this inning.
So the intentional pass for Chad Curtis sets the stage for Scott Brosius. As Kenny just said, Jim Daugherty warming in the Oakland A's bullpen. Brosius has 2 RBIs in the game. And here comes manager Art Howe, the 3rd pitcher of the ball game. And as we mentioned before, this game could be the A's season in microcosm. This could be the Yankees season in microcosm as well. Lots of power, lots of runs, lots of hits, and lots of pitchers' days ruined. Our coverage of opening day in the Bronx continues in a moment.
How the new Roth IRA really works.
Hard work will never be enough. If you expect to have money for children, college, and retirement, you'll need to invest. And to be successful, you'll need a strategy.
At Solomon Smith Barney, we can show you how the Roth IRA really works with 6 compelling strategies. Call for our special report and learn how the Roth IRA could be a better investment than a 401k. The Roth IRA can also be an effective tool for estate planning. It gives you years of tax-free growth without any requirements to take the money out. And your investment can be handed down to your children without anyone paying income tax. Discover how all 6 strategies can affect your investments right now. Call for our special report. It's free, it's insightful, and it shows how the new Roth IRA can work for you.
The opportunities for savings and investment have never been greater. The important thing is to start early. Today would be fine.
For your free copy, call now. 1-800-EARNS-IT, extension 14.
Knicks fans, it's the 1997-98 official New York Knicks yearbook, jam-packed with dramatic photos. It's an insider's look at the players, coaches, and life in the NBA. And now it comes with a free screensaver for your home or office computer, featuring fantastic video game action and the Knicks' favorite fight song, Go New York, Go New York, Go! It's on sale now at the Garden, or send $13 check or money order to New York Knicks Yearbook, 2 Penn Plaza, New York, 10121. Attention, Denver.
Go New York, go New York, go!
Martinez, Strawberry, joined by Chad Curtis. The base is loaded. We have a new pitcher for the Oakland A's, but let's take a moment to look ahead. Tomorrow, the Devils take on Boston at 7 o'clock on Fox Sports New York 2. The Islanders skate against the Canadiens at 7:30 on Fox Sports New York. At 9, Keith Van Horn and the Nets take on the Bucks on Fox Sports New York 3. Tuesday, Gretzky's Rangers collide with the Capitals 7:30 on MSG3. And the Knicks battle the Wizards at 8 on MSG2. It's all coming up on MSG and Fox Sports New York. Check your local listings. What's coming up right now is Jim Daugherty. Monday, he's an Edmonton Trapper. Now he's in Oakland A in his 2nd appearance of the season at Yankee Stadium in front of a packed house. What can we expect from him?
Well, first of all, you can see that delivery. You're going to expect sinking fastballs. And the first pitch is a strike to Brosius. Daugherty last year spent all year in AAA at Norfolk. That's the Mets AAA ball club. Had a good year. Appeared in 49 games and went 10-1.
Ground ball goes through. 3 RBIs for Scott Brosius on opening day. And here comes Darryl. to 5 Yankees. Scott Brosius.
He's having one of those remember me days.
Well, you know that when they introduced him here, there was no real big cheer. So this is a great way to have the fans know who you are right away.
Well, you got to prove it to him here in New York. And you can see the pitches on the inner half. He's going to turn nicely, line it into left field for the base hit, pick up a couple more RBIs. What I mean was a remember me day. Of course, he played for the A's last year and for a number of seasons.
The hitter is Joe Girardi. Yankees getting a lot of bang for their buck. 11 runs on only 8 hits, but the walks of Aaron Small and Jimmy Haynes have really hurt the Oakland A's.
They've walked 9 Yankees and haven't struck anybody out. A's pitching.
Curtis is the man in the middle of the diamond at second. Brosius at first. Pickoff attempted at second. Throw was there in pretty good time, but no real challenge to Chad Curtis. 9 walks issued by A's pitchers here this afternoon. The Yankees trying to get to the 500 mark after a 3-4 start in the 7-game Western swing. It's down the line in right and out of play.
There's been a lot of talk about Joe Girardi and Jorge Posada. Posada off to the good start with the bat, how much each would play. I think Yankee fans should remember, as we look at Jorge on the bench, who has been swinging the bat very well, as he did in spring training. But I think Yankee fans should remember that Joe Girardi's been on 4 postseason clubs, including 2 with the Yankees. So I think his main strength, as far as Joe is concerned, besides getting hits in the clutch, he's hit well over 300 runners in scoring position over the last 5 years. His ability to handle the pitching staff and get somebody like David Cone through a rough afternoon.
Another foul ball. Me personally, Ken, I never forget big performances in never to be forgotten games. So for Joe Girardi, the triple off of Maddox in Game 6 here at Yankee Stadium is just one of those moments that should give him special honors.
It will, but I also think you're going to have to expect to see Jorge Posada play more this year. It's going to be,
totally.
It's going to be more.
And don't you think Joe realizes that?
I think he does.
The 0-2 pitch. Off the glove at first base of Jason Giambi. Everybody's safe, and the Yankees have the bases loaded a 3rd time.
You've heard Jim Cott mention from time to time, when pitchers are out there walking people, putting runners on base, 9 walks today by the A's pitcher, that the fielders kind of fall asleep. They're back on their heels. This is a play that should have been made. Nice Sunday hop, but off the end of the glove for Giambi. I don't know what happened there. That's going to load the bases again.
He sort of shielded his face. That was very strange. Maybe the ball took a weird hop.
Well, I don't know about, maybe it got in the white shirt behind the near the on-deck circle and couldn't find it.
He's got the cool shades on. Anyway, Jim Doherty's now got to deal with Chuck Knobloch. Knobloch is 0 for 2. He'd like to make the same sort of statement that Scott Brosius has made here today.
2nd inning in a row that the Yankees have batted around. There were 2 walks, make that 3 walks last inning. There have been 4 walks this inning. That's how you keep the line moving.
Knobloch hitting .321. Yankees piling runs on the board. Chad Curtis reached on a walk. Brosius doubled. Girardi on the error. Now that's where we stand. Still on the bottom of the 4th with 1 out. Art Howe's A's had a 5-0 lead after an inning and a half. Inside part of the plate, 3 balls and no strikes. Saw they play Knobloch in the outfield to go to the opposite field, as Derek Jeter has resumed the tradition of talking to those in the front row. Only today he's dealing with the mayoralty. Andrew Giuliani. What, does that kid get great seats or what? Doherty finds the strike zone. Andrew's a big-time Yankee fan.
Well, when I was a youngster, I really would have. I don't know what I would have done for a seat like that.
Why? Where did you sit, Ken?
Where I could afford to sit, out in the bleachers.
3 balls and 2 strikes. I sense something set up here.
Yeah, well, someone way out here. I think that was my seat. The game was only a rumor, but I had fun.
Yeah, but the spirit, that's where the spirit of the stadium is out there.
Oh, you watch Mickey Mantle, you see that big number 7 standing in front of you, Roger Maris over in right field. The day I was there, Tony Kubek played left field.
Tell you what, those 2 bleacher sections were filled before the stadium was even half filled. The 2nd for 1. Beautiful play by Girardi. Fundamentally solid. He takes out the 2nd baseman Spezio, and the Yankees get a 12th run.
And what he does, he gets Chuck Knobloch a run batted in on this play. Play takes time to develop. The ball wasn't hit that hard, but you can see that Girardi is all over Scott Spezio at 2nd base. Can't get much on the throw. Of course, Knobloch has pretty good speed, and that turns into another Yankee run. There's a throw to 2nd. Here comes Girardi into your picture. The throw to 1st is late.
Well, it is amazing how this game has turned. The stadium was dead, flat, quiet, disappointed. And then the bottom of the 2nd, the Yankees started it going. Jeter hitting for the second time in the inning. He's grounded out, flied out, and walked. To the right side, grabbed by Spezio, and the horror is over for the Oakland A's. For a second consecutive inning, the Yankees give David Cone 5. A dozen for New York and 5 for the A's. We're back for the 5th on MSG.
True, there are other ways to reduce your car insurance premiums instead of calling Geico. Geico Direct. A 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Want a mower that's fast and fun? Introducing Snapper's new Yard Cruiser. Designed right, the Yard Cruiser's joystick control allows you to point and go with super responsive zero-turn steering. With easy access, superior visibility, and a pivoting frame that glides over the contours of your lawn, cutting your mowing time virtually in half.
Snapper. Anything less just won't cut it.
Call 1-800-SNAPPER for the dealer nearest you.
Hey, Knicks fans, chart your kids' growth. Stop by a participating Sprint PCS dealer and receive a free Allen Houston growth chart with the purchase of a new phone and activation of a Sprint PCS service plan.
Where the hell have you guys been?
Just getting
Don't push me. Don't push me. Who's got the tickets? I'm gonna be late.
Huge crowd at Yankee Stadium, and traffic moving a little slowly north on the Major, Deegan. But we're used to that, aren't we? 12-5 is the score with the man who can fix that.
I know who's going to get blamed for that traffic. How come you're not moving it, Mr. Mayor? Move that traffic.
The mayor of New York, Mr. Rudy Giuliani, is here, and I know that you went to the opening day at Shea Stadium.
I did.
But this is the one you really love to come
Well, I've been a Yankee fan since I was younger than my son Andrew, who's right down there.
He was just talking to Derek Jeter in the on-deck circle. Did you see that?
He talks to everybody.
So he'll have a memory.
He's a bigger Yankee fan than I am. And very happy right now.
As are the Yankee fans and their sellout crowd. Jason Giambi to face David Cone, who's got 7 runs to work with. It was exciting there, wasn't it? The Yankees came roaring back.
2 tremendous innings.
Down the line, Brosius can't make a play. It's in the front row.
I think it's only fitting that on the 75th anniversary, the Babe hit one in 1923.
That's right.
And now Tino Martinez hits one.
We had a little pool who would hit the first home run, and I had Tino. So
that's a nice memory for Tino to be linked with the Babe.
1-1 to Giambi. And again, David Cone's going to get one of those weird hits. I think the bat was cracked. Nobody on, 1 on. Mr. Mayor, we thought, you get so many complaints about the traffic here at Yankee Stadium and this and so forth. We thought we'd take you back 75 years to opening day, the very first time they played a game here at Yankee Stadium, to show you that it was the same then. They had this little lot. It was filled with Model Ts, and then there was no place to park, and so the cars were actually strung out from the stadium all the way to the Harlem River and down toward the Willis Avenue Bridge. I mean, the string went about 2 miles. If we watch this, yeah.
How do you find your car?
Look at this.
How do you find your car there? They're all black.
Yeah, as Ken
you better really know your license number.
As Ken Singleton said, I wouldn't want the valet job. So that's 1923.
That's a great old photograph. And of course, the Polo Grounds was just over the river.
And as the story goes, there were people at the Polo Grounds the day that the Yankees played here, and they heard the roar when Babe hit the home run.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah. I can remember parking at the Polo Grounds parking areas in order to come to Yankee Stadium.
Now the Polo Grounds was right over there across the river. This would be the subway, and the Grand Concourse was over that way.
Yep.
And this is what we've got now. 3-0 to Dave Magadan. And Dave Cone gets a strike call, 3-1.
It's almost a game that Joe Torre wishes the DH were not a part of the rules, because David Cone be out of the game by now. He's just trying to milk him through the 5th inning and help him get a win.
Ground ball beyond the outstretched arm of Tino Martinez. Giambi makes the turn all the way to third. He gets a red light. Advancing to second on the play is Magadan. And the A's aren't going away. They may not have great pitching, but they've got plenty of hitting.
David Cone's really struggling today.
Yeah, he's on a juice right now. He had too many long innings early on, and you can really tell the crispness on his pitches is not there. And again, had it been a game without the DH, Joe Torre would have pinch hit for him. And his concern now, he'd like to give David Cone a win, but he doesn't want to sacrifice any kind of fatigue on that arm for what might be valuable down the road this season.
We'll check the pitch count on David Cone. There is no activity. Oh, now there's some soft tossing in the Yankee bullpen.
A pitch count can be deceptive sometimes. I mean, you say, oh, a guy threw 140 pitches, but if every inning is sort of routine and consistent, Darren Holmes beginning to toss, it's not a problem. But today, when you have a lot of long innings early, that really takes the juice out of your arm.
94 pitches for David Cone, and when Mel Stottlemyre comes in, it usually means he stays for a while. So did you visit the new Yankee clubhouse?
I did. Very, very impressive. Wonderful.
Absolutely. I mean, you want a room
facility.
at Gracie Mansion decorated like that, don't you?
I wanted to see if I could use the facilities. Maybe get my arm worked on and maybe get a massage or something.
The whirlpool
what do you think? When the Yankees are away, the whirlpool would be great. It's a beautiful new clubhouse.
Scott Spezio looks at ball one. Still
I think the new seats behind home plate are going to affect the game, right? You're going to end up with a certain number of foul balls to get caught now. That gives the hitter a little bit of an advantage, doesn't it?
No, actually, yes, there's less foul territory. 12 feet.
12 feet. Well, that's a
This
lot.
used to be the longest distance between home plate and the. I mean, it was a cab ride between home plate and either for a catcher. Now it's shortened up by 12 feet.
I can remember a number of catches right by the fence. Those will be easy ones now.
And also down the right field line and left field line, just where the photographers' wells used to be. There's also additional seats there.
That's a strike, 3-1.
Always special coming to the. Now, have you been to other stadiums besides Yankee Stadium?
Oh, sure, yeah.
But it's always, there's no opening day like opening day here.
I got here at 9:30 this morning because I did my radio show here. And at 9:30, there were a couple of thousand people outside yelling and screaming. It was like the first game of a World Series or something. It was really terrific enthusiasm.
What is the hot topic as far as you're concerned in the city right now?
The hot topic?
Yeah.
Actually, things are pretty.
Oh, I know things are
calm.
okay. I wanted to talk to you about construction in the Midtown Tunnel.
My hot topic is, will there be a Yankee Met World Series?
Tino takes one off the chest. He's got to flip it to Cone, covering just in time. One away, but the A's get a run.
First base has been tough today.
Yeah, with Tino looking down at the dirt, it almost makes me wonder whether, with all the rain, and Bobby Wilkinson and his crew did a great job to get this field in shape, but I think it's a little choppy down on the dirt part of the infield, and Tino gave up his body to at least block that ball and get one out. But you noticed that both Giambi the last inning and now Tino have had some funny hops down there.
Not used to seeing Tino struggle like that in back-to-back ground balls.
Well, he made a game saver in Seattle by digging out Knobloch's throw. That saved the game for him Wednesday night.
The hitter is A.J. Hinch, the Oakland A's catcher. He has singled and walked, scored a run. It is 12-6 now with an A's run here in the 5th.
David Cone's last inning, right?
Looks that way,
assume,
doesn't it?
right?
Yeah.
Sure.
And as new Yankees look to make impressions, Scott Brocious a very positive one. Chuck Knobloch got an RBI in his last at bat. Joe Torre's called on the ex-Colorado Rocky Darren Holmes to come in here and see if he can make a positive impression perhaps on opening day. Certainly looks like that's the plan.
Very impressed with Brocious fielding when I watched it on the West Coast, here. Now he's hitting too, but he really, I think he's really good third baseman.
It's amazing when guys come from the West Coast to the East Coast and you're sort of shocked by their abilities. And say, we never saw him play that often.
I saw him play, but I didn't pay attention to him.
I can remember Tony La Russa telling me years ago when he was managing, Scott Brocious might have the best arm of any infielder in the American League. I think he might be right. You know, he had such a great year 2 years ago, hit over 300. Last year he fell off, but being a part of this lineup is going to have a positive influence on his year.
Adding Brocious and Knobloch to the infield really tightens it up.
Broken bat through the left side. The A's have another run. It's 12-7, and David Cohn's not out of this yet. A.J. Hinch with the RBI knock.
And he doesn't want to look over his shoulder at Joe Torre, because as much as he would hate to come out of this game, David Cohn would say, I couldn't blame Joe Torre if he made the move right now.
Now, Jimmy, how much do you think as we look at Darren Holmes getting set? Is Joe Torre factoring in the W here? Does he want to try and get it? He wants that W on the board, right?
If it wasn't for that, he'd have been out of here long ago.
He's got to get through the fifth to earn that. Nothing in one to Rafael Bornegal. Now he's got the 9th place hitter here with a runner at first. If he can somehow maybe squeeze out an infield ground ball. He's gotten the A's to ground into 1 double play in the game so far. Hot shot. And that's to the 9th place man, Bornegal. So now 2 on. Fans getting a little restless.
Yeah, I think he's out. He's out.
And here comes Joe Torre.
I think he had to do it. You really start putting the win in jeopardy if you go much further.
Fans finally let their reason overrule their passion.
Right.
They certainly wanted David Cohn to stay in, but they know to get a W, it's time to make a move.
Like, okay, Joe, that's enough. He threw 107 pitches. And most of the fans in the lower section give David Cohn a little bit of a standing ovation as he leaves here with a 12-7 lead, 1 away in the bottom of the 5th.
Madison Square Garden's arena football team, the New York City Hawks. They've been busy this offseason. With new personnel in place, they are driven to win. And they come to New York with championship credentials. Come raise the roof at Madison Square Garden. For individual tickets, visit the Garden box office or call Ticketmaster at 307-7171. Or for season tickets and group sales, call 465-6073.
Hey! No, down here. Instead of running out for stamps, shouldn't you be running your business? Imagine a simpler way. Get the personal post office from Pitney Bowes. Send mail without ever going out for stamps. Just weigh, punch in the postage, and voila. Professionally metered mail and no wasted postage. You can also add a personal message to get your mail noticed. And postage refills by phone in 30 seconds, day or night. Now listen up, because here's what you'll get. Besides a lot more time.
You'll get the personal post office and money-saving electronic scale.
So there's no wasted postage.
For a 90-day free trial.
Free is good.
You'll also get the Mail Marketer software.
Create really nifty direct mail to help your business grow.
Call now for your 90-day free trial, and you'll also get our Mail Marketer software absolutely free.
Now watch your business grow. Hey, I look good in red.
Call now and get all this for a 90-day free trial.
The personal post office. Mailing made simple.
We're back on MSG. Darren Holmes will enter the ball game, replacing David Cohn. Al Troutwig along with Jim Cott and the mayor of New York City, Mr. Rudolph Giuliani. Jimmy, what did you learn about Darren Holmes and the limited exposure you had to him on the West Coast trip?
Well, I first learned about Darren Holmes when he came up with the Milwaukee Brewers. He had an outstanding curveball. Then he went to Colorado, and that's bad weather for curveball pitchers, that light air, so he couldn't get his curve to break. But last year he was 9-2. They used him as a starter and a reliever. I think what Joe Torre wants to find out, there are certain relievers you could put in games when your team's ahead. You know, they'll kind of grab the bit and go.
How about his tan, by the way? Does that make you
that is great. That's the West Coast. I thought the weather was bad on the West Coast.
No, he stores it up over the winter, you know.
But I think they want to find out right now if somebody out of that bullpen can step up, and this would be a great opportunity for Darren Holmes to show Joe Torre, I can be a setup man when my team has the lead versus a mop-up man when we're 5 or 6 runs down, and that'll be the challenge for him right here.
Yeah, if you can be 9-2 in Colorado, you're doing something.
Yeah, well, you're getting a lot of runs to begin with, probably.
The other night he stayed with Stanton and didn't go to Holmes.
Exactly. That was a definite message that
even with the right-handed Martinez
you picked
coming
up on that.
Oh yeah,
you follow this stuff.
But I would have stayed with Stanton. He's a closer. I mean, has the experience of being a closer.
Now, if Stanton gave up a home run to Edgar Martinez,
I'd be very angry at you.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm a fan.
You are a true fan.
Well, you're honest.
All right, Ricky Henderson.
It was a gutsy move, though.
Will always be booed here, for Yankee fans believe he dogged it in his last days as a Yankee. In fact, I think he almost admitted it near the end. At second is A.J. Hinch. Rafael Bornegal is on at first. One away here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Yankees up 12-7. And Ricky Henderson comes through. That's a hard hit ball. And they're going to hold the runner at third. So the bases will be loaded with Oakland A's.
It proves the old adage, you never have enough runs.
Man, this is
particularly early in the game.
The last guy to cross home plate turned the light out.
Right.
That's what this game's going to be.
Well, that's how they become old adages. They're always true. You know. People say, why do they always use cliches? Because they work. Now, Jason McDonald, boy, they have some snazzy batting averages, these Oakland A's. He's hitting .391 in the number 2 spot. Sacrifice bunt, walk, and an infield fly.
This is another very long inning. The Yankees had 2 long ones, and they had a long one.
This is the American League.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, how about an update? You know, it's hard to think of anything other than baseball forever in the Bronx on a day like this. I know that, you know, you're not going to make any announcements today, but where do we stand with this thing?
Well, we have until 2002. The Yankees' lease comes up in 2002. If the Yankees want to remain in the Bronx, we want to work with them to rebuild this ballpark or build a new one. And if the Yankees don't want to remain in the Bronx, then we'll work with them to keep them in New York City. There are other sites that are possibilities, but we like them to stay here. This is a great place.
Is there another meeting scheduled?
There are meetings all the time.
Okay.
Many negotiations with the Yankees and the Mets.
Could I come to one of them? Perhaps?
Sure, you want to come?
Yeah, I would love to.
And some of them concern, you know, some of the changes in the ballpark that have already taken place. The city owns the ballpark. New York City built this new ballpark, and it's leased to the Yankees, as the city owns Shea Stadium.
Darren Holmes with a much-needed strike there. They were starting to grumble already. He was 3-0 to Jason McDonald. Pretty important sequence in the game right here. Ground ball up the middle, not blocked over early, I thought. 1 run is in. 2 runs have scored. And a 2 RBI single by McDonald of the Oakland A's. And it's 12-9. Nobody's helping out their ERA today.
Cone came in with about 11 or something, right?
11.68.
Good at bat by McDonald. Hit sharply up the middle, and I think you're going to see Chuck Knobloch. I think the infielders right now, because of all the rain and I guess the term you'd use, it's a little bit cuppy, the infield, a little clumpy. And no fault for the groundskeeper. It's just a matter of the weather that they've had here. But you can see the infielders are having a little difficulty getting a quick jump on the ball.
I thought he had a decent shot at that one when it came off the bat.
Jimmy, do you think Chuck went down a little early?
No, I think what's happening is, and you play on all kinds of surfaces, but when your home park is AstroTurf, which Knobloch was for all of his career up in the Metrodome, it's a little different, and you're on a new infield. You can see him walking around right now. He's kind of kicking the dirt and checking it out. And there's another look at. See, on AstroTurf, the ball gets through there so quickly that you tend to make your move a little bit sooner.
Right.
You have a split-second more time on the sand infield.
This guy looks good. He reminds me of Travis Lee. I mean, you talk about 2 guys who look like absolute naturals. Ben Grieve here and Lee with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Holmes over to first. Runners at first and third. 2 in, 4 straight hits for Oakland.
He looks, to me, he looks a little at first impression almost like John Olerud with a little more power. Very quiet at the plate.
He's got a big upper body. That's a Darren Holmes strike, 0-1.
Hitters, ball players have all kinds of dugout expressions, but one of them is they'll look at a guy like this and they'll say, he looks hitterish. I mean, he just looks like a hitter, doesn't he?
Particularly in this ballpark. You keep thinking about that short right field. Left-handed hit like this.
And I look at hitters a lot, judge them by how they take pitches. You know, some of them, they'll just take them like, nah, I mean, that's not even close to what I want. And he takes pitches with a lot of confidence, like he knows what he wants.
Fouled back, and Holmes is ahead of Ben Grieve. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Concessionaires are happy today.
Oh, thrilled.
The ballpark looks great. They did a great job with the outfield and with the grass. The grass looks terrific.
Well, I don't know if you know Bobby Wilkinson, but he and the boys do an unbelievable job. They treat this building like a jewel. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The bunting is out, just as it was 75 years ago. Place is a lot different, but the atmosphere is the same. Oh, now the bases are loaded. That is not at all what Darren Holmes wanted to do.
That's exactly what we were discussing, is that Joe Torre wants to find out if Darren Holmes, he nicks him just above the elbow on that pitch, trying to come inside. He's going to make a move. You got to find out which guys you can trust with a lead and which guys you bring in when you're not in the lead. And this is that time of the year when Joe Torre will find out a lot about Darren Holmes. Here's a kid they like a lot, and he'll get a chance to do it. Mike Buddy.
Well, Darren Holmes not taking advantage of making a good first impression here today.
Welcome to New York.
The fans are not too happy with Darren at this point.
I'm sure. I think I heard the mayor booing too.
I welcome him.
12-9. Back in a moment.